brutal murder of a mother and her daughter. Joey Chin has the story.
In the darkness, someone waited as Pamela Berry left her mother's house for work. It was just after 6:15. Next door, her aunt and uncle heard a sharp cry.
God, somehow or another, gave her one more lungful of air so she could cry one last time for help so we could hear.
Dix's wife went outside to find Pamela and her mother badly hurt.
This is all that we know. Somebody beat us up. That was the last words.
The funeral home said 33-year-old Berry suffered 24 stab wounds. Her 54-year-old mother was stabbed 4 times. And in the hours since the tragedy, investigators have been able to learn little more about the crime or a motive.
Yes, ma'am. You're right. A real mystery.
There are those who believe the killer planned out his crime carefully. The family normally keeps a light burning on the back porch. But when Pamela Berry stepped out to start her car, she stepped out into darkness. Someone had taken the light bulb out, and police later found it tossed away into the backyard. Police have learned that there was no sexual assault or robbery of either victim. The killer apparently never went inside the house, where an 8-year-old child lay unhurt and asleep. Investigators say the weapon was a sharp object, 4 to 5 inches long. They're not sure it was a knife, and they don't know if there were any witnesses. All day, family members tried to recall any information to help police, but now their thoughts turn to forgiveness instead of anger.
People are wrong. God doesn't like what they do, but he loves the person.
Griffin police are working round the clock to return a feeling of security to these quiet streets. The last time police here had to investigate such a gruesome murder was 5 years ago. They say they've never had an unsolved murder and don't intend to let the killer who struck here get away. In Griffin, Joey Chen, 11 Alive News.
No motive in a brutal double murder in Griffin. 33-year-old Pamela Berry and her 54-year-old mother, Thelma Carden, were stabbed to death outside their home yesterday morning. Nothing was taken from the home, and as Channel 2's Joyce Oscar reports, the murders have left the small town shocked and shaken.
At the Southeastern Textile Company here in Griffin, where Pamela Berry worked, her sewing machine sits idle, her chair empty. Charlotte Quick and Rosie Stapleton worked side by side with the 33-year-old murder victim for nearly 2 years.
And I don't see how anybody could have done this. She didn't deserve to die like this. She was too good. She was a friend. She always told me that that's what a friend was for, you know. And she always cheered me up when I was sad.
She says she's one of my best friends. Don't seem right without her here.
Berry was on her way to work when she was brutally stabbed to death outside the home where she and her mother lived. The body of her mother, Thelma Carden, also stabbed, was found a few feet away. Like most of us, Pamela Berry had a daily work routine. At 6:15 in the morning, she came down the back steps of her mother's home and came here to warm up her car. Berry's car now sits at the Georgia Crime Lab. Investigators hope to find evidence in the car that will lead to the killer.
It's strange in the fact that we don't, as of right now, we have no motive. There was no evidence of sexual assault. There was nothing taken from the immediate scene. Nothing.
Police believe her 54-year-old mother heard or saw something, went to help her daughter, and then was stabbed herself. Carden's sister, Margie Dix, who lives next door, found the bodies shortly after the attack. The Reverend Cecil Dix is married to Carden's sister.
Whoever did this, whether it be 1, 2, or more, whoever did this, I had to be a little cocky or something, or crazy, or nutty, or, you know what causes people to do these things.
Carden had lived in this home for more than 30 years. After separating from her husband, daughter Pamela, and 8-year-old granddaughter moved in with Mrs. Carden. The child was visiting the ex-husband at the time of the stabbings. Berry and her child were planning to move into a new home in Griffin this weekend. In Spalding County, Joyce Oscar, Channel 2 Action News.
Police say the 8-year-old daughter of another of Mrs. Carden's children was asleep in the home during the attack. She was unharmed.